welcome to another episode of Synergy Talks. Mr. J Synergy, how y'all doing out there? I hope everybody feeling good, living good out there in the world right now. Today's edition is going to be the recap of the story with the legendary Mr. Arab. He was recently sentenced, as we all know, to unfortunately 45 years. And man, all I got to say about that is shit. I kind of think that's some bullshit. But I got the footage and all the information to recap of his story. He was actually, convicted of selling drugs in the community, to make a long story short. And it's people that murder people that don't even get 45 years. The cop who killed George Floyd is only looking at a max of 40 years. And that was on video camera. Arab situation, a convicted murderer supposedly had information about Arab. And the judge said he didn't use that as any bias in the sentencing, but it's hard to believe when you give a man 45 years for never pulling the trigger, killing somebody. But at any rate, I'm Mr. J Synergy. Much love to everybody out there. Continue to like, share, subscribe, support. Update me, let me know what's going on out there in the real world as we strive to chase the bag during the pandemic. Like I said, much love to everybody out there. I have the footage, so stay tuned to the end. Continue to hit that like button and subscribe and share. It does help the channel and help the content grow. I'm Mr. J Synergy. Always remember, don't live in the matrix. And also, the most important thing to always remember, especially right now, don't live in the matrix. And the fall will always be harder than the come up. Once again, it's Mr. J Synergy, bringing this recap on the story of the legendary Mr. Arab, receiving 45 years. Continue to like, support, and subscribe. I'm Mr. J Synergy. Much love to y'all. Peace.
Real name Abdul West, has been behind the bars of a federal detention center in Philly since his 2018 arrest on drug charges. According to All Hip Hop, Arab filed an emergency motion earlier this week to prevent the murder victims' family members from delivering their impact statements at Thursday's April 15 sentencing hearing. The federal government's case against Arab and 8 members of his original Block Hustlers crew was given new life after former associate Dantes Tess Stewart testified against the rapper during trial. Stewart claimed Arab ordered a hit on a drug dealer named Robert Johnson. Stewart allegedly carried out the murder in return for roughly $10,000 worth of drugs. The government was initially planning on letting Johnson's family give witness impact statements during Arab's sentencing under the Crime Victims' Rights Act. But Arab's lawyers argued that he was never charged with the murder. Therefore, they shouldn't be allowed to speak during the hearing. Stewart, in fact, was the one charged for the murder, and his testimony against Arab led to a reduced sentence of third-degree murder. Arab's legal team is concerned the family's testimony could result in a harsher sentence for Arab. As Arab's attorney Edward C. Meehan Jr. explained in the court docs, Mr. West has never been charged with the murder of Mr. Johnson, much less convicted. The testimony of Stewart at trial did not bear sufficient data of any reliability to establish any connection between Mr. West and the death of Mr. Johnson. The motion is rejected. Meehan wants the hearing delayed. Arab has built a steady following in the Philly area on the foundation of tough-talking gangster rap, while earning the respect of Drake, Swizz Beatz, and Birdman along the way. In 2019, federal jurors convicted him and 3 members of his crew for turning the OBH record label into a sizable North Philly drug trafficking operation implicated in several murders. Since then, Arab has had a tough time in prison. Last December, his little brother Lick Moss sat down with the interrogation room and explained how dire Arab's condition really was at the time. Right now, he's in a position where he can't walk at all, Lick said, but he's on a block with my brother and little cousin, so they kind of take care of him right now. Last month, co-defendant Dark Low pleaded guilty to 1 count of witness intimidation and faces up to 9 years in prison if convicted. Dark Low allegedly threatened Stewart, who helped put Arab in prison.
The Eustace page, she wrote an article on Arab out of Philadelphia saying that he was slapped with a 45-year prison sentence. My God! Now here's what's going on. Arab, he walked into the courtroom on Thursday for his sentencing hearing, where a federal judge threw the book at him. According to the Inquirer, the 38-year-old Philadelphia rapper was sentenced to a whopping 45 years in prison for turning his original Blockbusters label into a drug trafficking ring linked to at least 1 murder. Although Arab's former associate claimed the rapper ordered the 27 killing of a rival, the U.S. District Judge insisted it wasn't a consideration in his sentence. The The judge also insisted that A.R. Ab's violent lyrics weren't a factor in his vocal sentence either. Instead, he said the 45 years was for his history of antisocial behavior. The judge was quoted as saying, "You could have been a hero instead of a criminal, but you became a drug dealer. You made that decision. That's why you're being punished." A.R. Ab defended his lifestyle choices by saying, "The court, the FBI agents, and the prosecutors don't understand my culture. We don't rap about flowers and rainbows. We're gangster rappers. We rap about where we grew up. So we rap about drug dealing. We rap about violence." End quote. Dozens of witnesses revealed that the OBH drug ring drew its supply of crack cocaine, heroin, and meth from California, storing it in upscale Center City apartments he believed would be less likely to draw the attention of law enforcement. Assistant U.S. Attorney Everett said that this wasn't a case against gangster rap. Mr. West made it clear, not just in his lyrics, but in his social media, that people should be afraid of him and his willingness to resort to violence. Now, after FBI agents raided an OBH stash house at the One Water Street apartments in Old City, A.R. Ab dropped a music video in which he rapped about the feds taking 10 of them, a reference to 10 kilograms of cocaine seized at the scene. $250,000 lost, got a broke heart, he rapped. And they snatched my dog, that's the worst part. One rat destroyed everything you worked for. I pray to God that he don't tell him who he worked for. Moments before U.S. Marshals led him away in handcuffs, it sounded like A.R. Ab planned on filing an appeal, ending the hearing with, "I'm not saying I'm innocent. I'm saying I'm not guilty of all them charges." Man, that's crazy, right?